Yeah, let's go. Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. We acknowledge the land upon which we work and live, the First Nations and their nations, and recognize their connection to the land, water, and community. We continue to learn, listen, and grow together. And saying that, we'll get right on to our meeting. Welcome, everybody. Call the meeting to order and approve of the agenda, please.
Be it hereby resolved that the agenda for the December 18th, 2024 regular meeting of council be adopted as printed and circulated.
Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Banbury. All in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Not see any. And minutes for December 4th.
Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the December 4th meeting, 2024 meeting of council be adopted as printed and circulated.
Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Barnes, second by Councillor Young. All in favor? And opposed, if any, and that's carried. Any business arising from the minutes? Not see any. For our public meeting, I think the applicant is a few minutes away, so I'm going to just skip on the agenda and go to a couple things until they're here, so we can go at it. So I'm going to go to, are you okay, to go to correspondence, please?
Be it hereby resolved that the general correspondence items be received as information.
Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Banbury. Any discussion on that at all? Okay, all in favor? And opposed, if any, and that's carried. And we'll move on to our staff report. Drew Davidson, Director of Protective Services. Welcome, Drew.
Council, Mr. Mayor. First staff report I have is regarding the Wilmot Fire Agreement for a section in the northeast corner of our township. If you remember back on in July, I presented a report saying that we had limited only 2 calls in the last 5 years there, and that there was really this agreement needed to be looked at, and at that time it was said that we should cancel that at the end of the year. Some new information has come to light since then. There were additional calls to these areas that Wilmot had not passed to our township. So in reviewing this new information and sitting down with the Wilmot chief and going over the importance of passing along vital information along as that, there is some validity to having the agreement in place, but with changes. Before it was per resident, but we would like to go with the MTO rates, which is kind of the standard with the other agreements that we have in that area. So we have come to an agreement that Wilmot will go to all the medical calls, and then when they attend a car accident or a fire, Plattsville will be second station in, with the idea to relieve them so that they're only there for 1 hour, and then we'll take over from there. So with this new information that's come to light, a new agreement was reached, and then it's here for council to approve.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on that? Oh, not seeing any. Okay, a resolution.
Be it hereby resolved that report FC 2423 be received as information, and that council authorizes the mayor and the clerk to execute the fire protection agreement with the township of Wilmot.
Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Young. Any questions or comments? Not seeing any. All in favor? And opposed, if any, and that's carried. Okay, and on to your monthly report.
Yes, thank you. For the monthly report for the month of November, we had the resignation of the training officer for the Riffsock Group, Jackie, and she accepted his position as a training officer for Woodstock. So we went through the process, and the successful candidate now, his name is Paul Marks. He's been in the area for a little while, and he started actually just this past week. And with the idea, because we do have recruit training coming up starting in January, so we wanted to get him up to speed fairly quickly. So that's well in the works, and he's been to one of our Riffsock Chiefs meeting already. So I think we'd like to welcome him, but he will fit in just fine with our core values. I want to thank everyone, council, for attending our awards ceremony in November. That went over well. The firefighters quite appreciated that, and I think we'll have even a better turnout next year. So thank you again for being part of that. And then it was the Chiefs Conference in November. Again, health and safety was highlighted, how we can continue on with that. One of the highlights is the presumptive cancers and the timelines that are changing on that. And one of the ways that we're proactive with that now is it's becoming part of our recruitment as well. We're putting a package together that all the recruits will get next year, saying this is in place, this is how, if unfortunate were to happen to you, this is the steps. So it's not just when you retire, here's your package. We have something, we're trying to be proactive on that front, as well as many other initiatives that as we go along throughout the year we'll be bringing forward. So that was kind of the highlight topic when we were down there, the safety of our firefighters. And again, we held the Rifsauk Chiefs meeting at the Drumble Station, kind of showed off our renos, and we headed upstairs, and it worked out pretty good, or it worked out very well. And to end off with our peer support team, the team is in place now. We are working on the app. The app will be launched in January to the team so they can get oriented with it, and then an official launch to all firefighters beginning in February. So we're working, so that's coming along. And with a little bit of weather, our call volume is starting to go up on the 401 and on the highways because of some weather. So but, happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions from council on the report? No, I'm not seeing any. Okay, thank you. Can I get a resolution, please?
Be it hereby resolved that report FC 2424 be received as information.
Okay, can I get a mover and a second, please? Moved by Councilor Banbury, second by Councilor Barnes. Any comments at all, discussion? Not seeing any. All in favor? And opposed, if any? And that's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, and I think we have the applicant here now. Okay, we'll go back to the planning matter. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Be it hereby resolved that council rise and go into a public meeting under the Planning Act to consider application for zone change ZN 12422, McLaren Property Enterprise Incorporated, and that Mayor Peterson chair the public meeting.
Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Demers, second by Councilor Young. All in favor? Opposed, if any? And that's carried. Okay. I am officially opening this public meeting, which is being held on the Planning Act for the purpose of hearing an application for zone change in the Township of Blandford-Blenheim. I would like to advise those in attendance that the Ontario Land Tribunal has the power to dismiss an appeal if an appellant has not provided the council with oral submission at a public meeting or written submission before a bylaw is passed. Pursuant to recent changes under Bill 185, appeals are now generally limited to the applicant, a registered owner, a public body, specific persons, or the minister. I would like to ask those in attendance that if they wish to receive notification of council's decision, they should sign the sheet which is on the shelf right at the back of the room. We'll now ask council members to state any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Not seeing any. There is one application being considered today, ZN 1-24-22, McLaren Property Enterprises Incorporated for lands located at 28 Railway Street West in Princeton. This application is to amend the township zoning bylaw. And Dustin, if you could present that, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good afternoon, members of council and members of the public in attendance here today. The application before you concerns a property at 28 Railway Street West that's approximately 918 meters square and is currently zoned R1 with a special provision to permit a converted dwelling. On the site is a converted dwelling which was built in approximately the 1880s, I believe, based on current records. And this is located at the corner of McQueen Street and Railway Street West. Surrounding the subject lands is predominantly a residential neighborhood, while the lands to the north are currently zoned for industrial purposes. The proposal before you here today is to rezone the subject lands from the R1 zone with the special converted dwelling provision to allow for a group home. Now, just for everyone's sake, I am going to read out the definition of a group home in our zoning bylaw as it exists today. A group home means a single housekeeping unit in a permitted dwelling in which 3 to 10 persons, excluding supervisory staff or receiving family, live under supervision consistent with the particular needs of its residents. The group home is licensed or approved under provincial statutes. The application before you proposes a number of deviations from the zoning bylaw. One is to allow for a group home on partial municipal services, while the other the other permissions being requested are to allow for the existing lot to permit the group home despite there being a reduction in frontage, lot depth, and lot area. At this point, no external changes are being proposed to the structure that is there today. And at this point, the plan, from my understanding, is for one of the 2 units in the converted dwelling to have 2 persons as part of the group home. There might be plans in the future to allow for 2 more persons in the second unit for a total of 4 persons. But that would be 4 persons total for the entirety of the land. As a result of circulation to internal departments and agencies, no comments were received of note. As a result of the circulation to members of the public, 1 letter was received, which was included in this report. And we did receive some calls as well from members of the public with some questions. Now, as council is aware, some of the questions were put to the applicant for a response, which they did provide. That has been included in an email recently to yourselves, and also members of the public who had requested that information were also received it. In terms of our analysis, from a planning standpoint, the application, in our opinion, does meet the intent of the provincial planning statement, as it does provide a range of housing to meet the social health and well-being of current and future residents. And it is located in a settlement where, developments such as this are pushed towards, I guess, would be the term, in order to use municipal services to the greatest efficiency possible. We also believe that it does meet the intent of the county's official plan, as it does allow for a group home which is permitted in a village such as Princeton. It does fall under special needs housing in the official plan, which again is permitted inside of a village. In our opinion, one of the criteria to look at when considering special needs housing is the impact on traffic. Given the small size of this group home, in staff's opinion, the traffic that would be going to and from the site would be truthfully no different than, in our opinion, any other single detached dwelling that may be on the site. Excuse me. Now, in terms of the size of the property, one of the questions is about private septic, as Princeton does not have municipal septic. In consultation with the local chief building official, again, given the small size of this group home, there's no concern, in the opinion of the CBO, that what they're planning is going to have a detrimental impact to the existing system on site. So we are here to recommend approval here today. And now, if I could point council's attention to the zoning bylaw that has been prepared. Perhaps if Adam, if you're able to go to page 67 of the package. I just wanted to explain some of the provisions that we're recommending in this zoning bylaw. So you'll see the definition of a group home. I am recommending that you alter it slightly from what the definition says in the zoning bylaw today. Right now, it allows up to from 3 to 10 persons in a group home. I'm recommending that you limit it from 2 to 4 and no more than that. And I am recommending that language be included in there, that it's for the subject lands, to try and make it clear that it's 2 to 4 people for the lands in an entirety, not per unit in this converted dwelling. So it's not 4 in one, 4 in the other. It's 4 total for the entirety of the lands. So that's what I've tried to capture in this definition. Of course, if council feels there's a need to change any language, we can certainly discuss that. And then the other changes, if Adam, if we could just scroll down. This is just to recognize the existing lot area, which is 918 meters square, recognize the existing lot frontage, which is 20 meters, and to recognize the existing lot depth, which is 45 meters. And then finally, we do have a provision in there saying that a group home would be permitted on public water supply and a private septic system. So to wrap up my spiel here, we do feel that we've tried to take the necessary steps to ensure that we're capturing the intent of this. You will notice that we are still keeping the requirement that the group home is to be licensed or approved under provincial statutes in the definition, so that's not changing. And we do feel that's an important thing to keep in that zoning bylaw.
Thank you very much. Normally, I would, this is where I would ask council for questions, but because this zone change is something that I know in the 4 terms I've been here, I've never had it before. I thought I would ask our CAO to just kind of explain what we're going to be discussing and how we're going to be voting on what we're going. So if I could get Josh to do that, please.
Certainly, through you, Mr. Chair. So as council's aware, we did receive supplementary information from the applicant. But I just wanted to, I guess, remind members at this point that, you know, the scope of our sort of decision-making and analysis this evening really does focus on sort of the valid planning items that Dustin's brought forward. So that has to do with the minimum required lot area, frontage, depth provisions, et cetera, in addition to the municipal sewer matter. So that's sort of the extent of the analysis. While we do have that supplementary information, we just need to be aware that our decision-making is sort of limited to those planning factors. And while that information, you know, we're welcome to ask for it, and I understand that the public's appreciative of receiving that, our decision-making capacity is limited in scope to those planning matters specifically.
Okay. All right. Any questions on that at all? No? Okay. Any questions from council regarding the staff report? No? Not seeing anything right now. Okay. Does the applicant agent wish to speak regarding this application? No? You're okay? Okay. Are there any interested parties in attendance to wish to speak to this application? And if you do, if you could come up to the little stand that's here, and I guess you can sit right at the table here and just state your name, please.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. My name's Ben Collins. I'm a neighbor of 48. I'm 2 doors down on 40 Railway Street. I'm coming here more with questions from a safety perspective. So I know group homes can mean a great many things, and I've just moved in 2.5 years ago with my 3 children behind me. Who is going to be in the group home is my question. Now, I understand it could be a number of different people. My only concern is if it were to be a group home that was welcoming sex offenders or convicts or something of that nature, then I think that would be a very poor location for a number of reasons. One, we don't have police services located in the village, and I've seen 1 police officer drive down my street in the 2.5 years I've been there. So, and in addition, there's not really transportation services in the area. There's no buses for people to take. There's no grocery store for them to attend. It's quite isolated. So I guess my questions would be very different if I thought, okay, this is actually children, a foster home type situation. Very different. My question is, do we know that this isn't sex offenders and that this isn't convicts? Is that out of scope of this type of group home?
Yeah, I know personally for me, I can't answer that question. I don't know if that's something the applicant can.
I can.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? I'm Tanisha. So we get a lot of proposals. We do not specialize in sex offenders, so we do not accept sex offenders into our program. Those individuals would typically need treatment-based programs, and so we do not offer that level of treatment. In terms of convicts, it would depend. So let's just say someone gets charged for stealing at a grocery store or stealing at a mall. Those are not things that we will not take. However, a part of our planning process with our application, we have to build a relationship with the local emergency services. We have to have them registered as vulnerable individuals, so they have the background information of the individuals. They like we would be working in partnership. So prior to that being open, that's a part of our licensing requirement that we have to go to schools, police departments, connect with any local agencies so that we are able to build a profile and provide a support network for any individuals that we take on. So we haven't taken on any heavy criminals. We specialize in special and complex needs. Special and complex needs can be autism, it can be mental health disorders, it can have dual diagnosis, so someone that has fetal alcohol syndrome and may also have autism. So we deal more with the developmental sector rather than the criminal sector.
Okay, thank you. And certainly, I don't object to supporting people with autism, but what I don't hear is a restriction in that type of zoning that would prevent that. And so what I'm hearing is you saying that's not something you practice right now, but it sounds to me like that's something that the approval opens the community up to and the neighborhood up to. And like I said, there's my children there, lots of other small children in that neighborhood. We don't have police located in the village. I have very high safety concerns about not what you're saying you're intending to do, but the potential of what this zoning could open up. So my recommendation is we would need to try to restrict what this looks like, try to define it to prevent that type of dangerous individual being located so close to the children without protections, or just reject it altogether.
I'll ask Dustin for clarification, but if the zone change is granted, I'm not sure whether we can put those kind of restrictions on a zone change.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if that is something that's being considered, I would recommend we defer this application and get legal opinion on that, because you're entering into human rights territory when you're coming into the zoning and saying who can and cannot live somewhere. So if that's something that council wants to explore, I would say defer the application, have the legal team weigh in on that before you make any decision on that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I like I say, I don't know whether legally we can even put that restriction on a zone change application.
Right,
So.
right, and I understand that. I
Yeah.
guess then my final comment, and I'll move away, would just be, if we don't know that we can put that restriction on there, we don't know that's gonna happen, we should definitely reject it, because
Yep.
it's not a safe place for such a thing to be. It's a very
Okay.
quiet street with very little supervision from, it's Princeton, so.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Okay, if you could come forward and just state your name, please. Do we have a deferral? Okay. Welcome.
Hi. My name is Dan Prescator. I live kind of kitty corner behind the property that is mentioned. Did get some good information today. Thank you very much. There was a couple questions that already got answered. My question is, as far as the zoning goes, and as far as once the zoning's done, and maybe you can answer me this too. Once the zoning's done, do you have to apply for a license for that particular property?
Yes, so a part of our licensing requirement is for it to be zoned, which is why we put the zoning application forward. So we will be monitored by the Ministry of Children and Community and Social Services.
Okay.
And so we would acquire a license to operate the home as a
Okay,
staff
so this
model
is
home.
basically for you, this is step one
Yes,
of moving forward.
yes.
Okay, and I guess on the, from the county's point of view, as far as the building itself, is there certain things that need to be looked into? Like, other than septic and that, like, for instance, fire escapes, all that kind of stuff. Like, does there have to be some kind of a building inspection done?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there has, and maybe ask our Ray if you would like to speak on that.
May I?
Sure, absolutely, come forward.
Here, want my seat?
For those in attendance, my name is Ray Belanger. I am the chief building official here in Blandford-Blenheim. If I can just address your question quickly.
Yeah.
So a project of this nature would require a change of use permit through the building department. Even if there's absolutely zero construction, you're changing the use of the building from a single-family dwelling into a group home. So basically, that permit would look like what we call an Ontario Building Code matrix. Basically, they would have, you know, the number of bathrooms and the number of parking spots. It's a whole matrix of questions that they must answer to get their permit. As well, for a permit of this type, proof of the Ontario license would be required as well in that permit package, on top of everything else.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
So just while you're here, so I guess, I think you've answered my question. So in order, like if, for us to put a condition on it saying that conditional on that they got their license, realistically, what you're saying, because they have to ask for a change of use,
Yes, sir.
that's really has that condition on there already?
Yes, sir, that's already a condition of the building permit, to
Sure.
have that proof of documentation from the provincial government.
Okay, perfect.
On top of the drawings, the internal opening code matrix, the application itself, there will be a number of documentations that they're going to be required to provide.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yep, thank you. Okay, is there anybody else that wishes to speak on it? Go ahead. If you can just come forward and state your name.
Yes, my name is Bev Beaton. I live in the property directly south of the required zone change. Now, to be quite honest, this is a business that's going to be looking after this in Princeton. It's not a provincial social agency that's setting up in Princeton. It's a business. And so I'm concerned about, number one, it's already have been operating. There's been some, it's been a sanctuary for some children, and I have no problem with that. And I have a particularly good tenant neighbor that lives in the building behind me. And so I'm concerned that when you say there's going to be permission for 2 and eventually maybe permission for 4, is that for 4 people who require sanctuary? Or is that total people? I mean, you require staff to look after these people, or a housekeeper, etc. So perhaps you can answer that question.
Sorry, can you ask a question?
Well, if you want, say, 2 people to start with, is that 2 clients? Or is that a client and a housekeeper or somebody who's in charge?
So there'd be maximum 2 clients in that home. Plus, there would be someone that would be, people that would be responsible. So it could be 1 to 2 individuals responsible for that care on a 24-hour basis.
Okay, and my next question is, who provides oversight for you? I mean, you're not an arm of Oxford County Social Services or Children's Aid. So who is
So the Children's Aid Society places the children, so they come in and they ensure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Plus, we also have oversight from the Ministry of Children, Community, and Social Services, and they come in and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing as well.
Okay, now, you do not have a license to operate as of yet. So it's like the chicken or the egg here, or catch-22. You need the rezoning so you can apply for a license, correct?
Yes,
Have you already applied for that license?
yes.
So it's contingent upon rezoning today?
Yes, for that property, yes.
Okay. And at what point would you see yourself expanding to 4 clients?
It would depend, right? We are comfortable with 2 right now. If we have the space available.
I'm just gonna pause you for a minute, just so, if I can get you to maybe come up here, and then that way
problem.
you're directing the council, so we can hear what's going on.
So right now, we have 1 available unit. We have a great, there's a tenant in our other unit, very happy to have him there. He's been wonderful and very friendly with all the kids, so there would be no plan to remove him or anything like that. So the 1 unit is the 1 unit that we're going to be using that would have a maximum of 2 children.
I just want to make for clarity too. So if there's 2 units and you have, say when you do get to 2 and 2, do you have to have a care worker for each unit?
Yes, so
Okay.
because it's not a foster home, there has to be reasonable oversight. So there would always be someone that has been trained, has the educational experience with working with these individuals, supporting them 24 hours each day.
Okay. All right, any other questions, Bev?
Yes, well, like I said, this is a business. You're in the business of housing children in need.
Yeah.
Correct. And you have other facilities.
Yes, we do.
Correct. And where are they?
We have them quite all over. We have a house in St. Thomas. We have a couple in Brantford. We have some in Brampton. We have some in Dundalk.
Okay, are you connected with the St. Leonard Society in Brantford?
No, we are not.
No.
No.
Okay. Look, this property was a hotel, built as a hotel, and, I mean, I've lived in Princeton and at this location for over 40 years. I delivered papers when I was 10 years old to that house. It was a fourplex or more. There were a lot of people living in that house, so I don't have objection to a multifamily unit. But I want to know, it's a village, and you may not realize that. You're looking after children, but we look after our community. So to satisfy me, I have to be confident that there's full disclosure to the neighbors and the surrounding people, and that we can be part of your effort for a good result.
Absolutely.
And so-
We do have to have confidentiality because of the.
Oh, yes,
the
I
children
understand
issue.
that.
However, we've had a young male that lived there. We have community members that he shared his experience with. They were very welcoming. They invited him to different events that were happening. They would have, I guess there was some events that were happening at the library we weren't aware of. They shared that information. They would have play dates. So while I understand that it's your community, we are bringing individuals into your community, and we'd love for them to mesh into the community. With what we can allow, we would be more than open to.
Okay, and how long have you been in the business?
I've been in the business for 13 years.
13 years.
Yes.
And are you a social worker?
I am a social worker, and I've also been a foster parent as well.
Okay, very good. Well, I know that the applicant would like a decision so we can move forward. And as long as it's, there's been full disclosure, there's been no hesitation in your answers. And like I said, you've already been operating, so you sort of been able to gauge a bit of success. And when I was first notified about this, I thought perhaps you were doing housekeeping to get things in order, or there was a complaint. There's been no complaints? Okay, very good. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on the matter? Okay, not
Sorry,
see.
I just also want to.
Sure.
I know that you had talked about, the police services and the services that were around. I do want to mention to everybody, a part of caring for children and youth, there's a lot of things that we have to consider. We have to consider the needs for that individual, and ensuring that where we place that individual can accommodate those needs. As you mentioned, there's not a lot of police services. There's not police services readily available, or to act quickly. There is not a grocery store around, so on and so forth. So those are all things that not only we have to consider, but the placing agency has to consider as well. And we actually have to document those considerations. So I can assure you that we will not be putting criminals in this area. We know that wouldn't be successful. We know the likelihood of we also have to think about the safety of the individuals in the home, including the staff that are supporting. So if we have someone that's violent or someone that, again, like you said, is a criminal placed in the homes, we can't assure that our staff are going to be safe. We can't assure that they're going to be safe. We can't assure that we'll get emergency services responding to us in a timely manner. So those are all things that we have to consider and think about, and we do consider and think about, and has to be documented. So I just want to, before we accept the placement, that's something that we have to do. So I just want to share that so that everybody is aware that there's a lot of thinking and planning that has to be done. We have to actually create a safety plan that's approved before the child is placed in the home. There's a lot of work to place these children in homes that are suitable and reasonable. I know historically, prior to us starting our venture, they were just kind of placing kids anywhere. And they've seen the dangers in it, and so the ministry had made amendments to requirements, and things have changed drastically. And so we are part of that change, and we'll continue with that change. So I hope that provides some comfort. We do have to do a lot of planning.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Would that mean that if there were...
If I can just get you, sorry, just for the record, if I can just get you up to come up to the mic and just state your name, please. Because the people at home, I know there's a lot watching, so the people at home need to be able to hear you and see you.
Just a quick follow-up question. My name's Megan Collins. I'm at 40 Railway Street West as well. So thank you for explaining the process and all the conditions that are made on accepting applicants.
Yep.
So I just wanted to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So if, because there's no transportation or there's no like rehab services or counseling services in Princeton or even in Drumbo, then that would really mean that if there are any criminals who would need those services, who would be particularly dangerous for our children, that would make a very low risk because they don't have the services that
not-
they
the
need
resources are
in
not there.
Princeton.
Yeah.
So it would be ideal for young children
Yep.
who need it, but those
As well
other
as individuals that have developmental delays that require the support and services from a one-to-one worker that would be able to transport them to a grocery store, transport them to the library, things like
So
that.
transportation would be a consideration that would be provided to
Yeah,
the
so we
children,
have,
so they're not
the
stuck.
kids don't, we've been here for about 2 years now. And so we've had 3 kids that have lived in the home. We're aware of the transportation. We know, we have daily schedules that we create, so we know that today's grocery day, we know that today's an appointment day, so we know the local areas that we have used for medical services or dental services and so on and so forth. So we're aware that there is no transportation here, and so we would definitely consider that when we are accepting a child and would provide that information to the placing agency when we're accepting a child.
Thank you for clarifying. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, are there any members of council that have any further questions regarding this? I not see any. Okay, this application will be dealt with by council at its regular meeting. Immediately following this public meeting, I will now officially close this public meeting and a resolution to rise, please.
Be it hereby resolved that the public meeting be adjourned and that the regular meeting of council reconvene.
Okay, can I get a mover and a second, please? Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Banbury. Any comments at all? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Comments about that?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I do have a couple comments, actually. About coming out or about the whole resolution?
About the whole, oh, sorry. Yeah, let's vote on it, and then we'll come back to that when we read that resolution up. Okay, all in favor? And opposed, if any? And that's carried. Okay, now, we have to have a resolution on board, so council needs to make that decision on where they want to go, accept it, deny it, defer it. So we need to have that put on the floor before we can,
I can say my comments.
Comment.
It'll tell you where I'm thinking.
okay? Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to, 2 meetings ago, we as council supported a letter from Safe and Well Oxford, from the Children Welfare Society, saying that they are lacking space and homes for vulnerable youth. It was a really good, well, it wasn't good, but it was a really informative letter saying that unfortunately families are having to abandon their kids to get them help. So knowing that we supported that two times ago, and knowing that the MCCSS that supports organizations such as this have so many guidelines and expectations and compliance that these people have to follow, I have no concerns about this. I think this is a really good time for our community to support vulnerable individuals, to show that we can be a supportive community, maybe to really take the time to educate people and support these youth that need some help. So I'm for it. That's where I'm at.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody? Okay, so is that council wishes to support it? Okay, I'm seeing it. Okay, go ahead.
Be it hereby resolved that the Township of Blandford-Blenheim approve the zone change application submitted by McLaren Property Enterprise Incorporated, whereby the lands described as part lots 9 and 10, Plan 65 in the Township of Blandford-Blenheim are to be rezoned from Special Residential Type 1 Converted Dwelling Zone R1C to Special Residential Type 1 Zone R1 SP to permit a group home on an undersized property.
Okay, can I get a mover and second, please? Moved by Councillor Young, second by Councillor Demarest. Any questions? Sorry, comments? Nothing? All in favor? and opposed if any, and that's carried. Okay, thank you. I think we'll move into close now. Yeah. So I think I'm going to jump a couple of these reports here. I'm going to go into closed session and then come back out because I see a few that are dressed up maybe for the school play that's over here. I'm not sure if that's where you're going, but I'm hoping to get over there as well. I have to leave at 5 o'clock, so I'm going to go into closed and see if we can get finish some of that up, and then we'll come back in and finish. All we have left now is just our reports from our managers. So thank you everybody for coming, and we'll go into closed session.
Be it hereby resolved that council move into closed session.
Nat, go ahead.
Be it hereby resolved that council move into closed session under the authority of Section 239 of the Municipal Act at 4:41 PM to discuss A, report CAO 2447, personal matters about an identifiable individual,
If we can just try to be quiet as we go out, if you can do that, please.
including municipal employees, Section 239 2B, regarding performance evaluation CAO. B, report CAO 2448, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal employees, Section 239 2B, regarding staffing. And C, report CAO 49, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality, Section 239 2E, regarding township roads update.
Okay, can I get a mover and seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Banbury. All in favor? Opposed if any, and that's carried. And we'll just wait till we get out.
Gotta get the guy a new coat.
Yeah, there's the other edge. That's what John did.
I'll read the resolution.
Okay, yep, go ahead.
Be it hereby resolved that council does now adjourn from closed session and resume into open session at 5:24 PM and reports the following: that council provided direction to staff regarding report CAO 2447, CAO 2448, and CAO 2449.
Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Young, seconded by Councillor Banbury. All in favor? Okay. And that's passed. Just so to let everybody know that's streaming, Mayor Peterson had to take off a little bit early, so I'm just sitting in for him to complete the meeting this evening. So who's next here? Ray? So Ray, could we have the CBO report, please? Is he here?
Hi.
There you are. Oh, I expected you to come from over there.
Yeah, I preempted.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sat
Sorry
down.
about that.
That's no worries. Good evening. This is my monthly report for November. We had another great month in the building department. Another 7 permits issued. 1 house, 1 additional residential unit. Like I said, another great month. Of course, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions from council? Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the report?
Be it hereby resolved that report CBO 2412 be received as information.
Any comments? Seeing none, could I have a first and a second, please? Councillor Barnes first, and Councillor Banbury second. All in favor? And that's passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, let's try this again. Jim Borton, Director of Public Works. Can we have your report, please?
Evening, Council. This is just an update on what's been happening with the ASIP update. So the Accelerated High-Speed Internet Program. I had a report in July, I believe it was, so this is just an update. Things are moving well. We've had lots of permits come in. When they come in, we look at them, make sure that the running line is proper. We're not too close to the road edge. We're not at the bottom of the ditch, so if we have to do ditching, that they're going to be in anything like that in the way. As I mentioned previously, some new telephone poles, hydro poles will be placed, that the infrastructure will be put on. So we wanted to make sure that that was far enough away out of the crash zone for our roads. That's all taken place. In total, I've looked at 111 drawing sets for this, so it's quite an extensive time. The last few weeks, I've spent a couple days with Explorer engineers as well as their construction manager on site, looking at some of the roads, some of the problem areas, just making sure that the running lines are good. Prevent some of the crossing back over and then going a little bit and crossing back over again, so we're all on one side. So they're fairly confident that they're going to be getting started. They had hoped this month, but it'll probably be in January with completion for all of our roads to be done by 2025. So they have a lot of work ahead of them.
Nice, nice. Great. Any questions from council? Go ahead, Bruce.
Through you, Madam Auxiliary Mayor.
Okay.
That sounds like a pretty big work order for 1 year, given the map that we have, the amount that they've got to put in. Most of it is underground, I guess, eh?
Yes. Yeah, the majority is underground. I did ask them about that, knowing that the deadline from the province for them to get paid is the end of 2025, and they said that it will be tight, but they are probably going to have 6 or 7 crews here at a time working to try and make sure that they get it in the ground.
This line that's going from, what looks like about Eastwood down to Paris, is that part of this?
That's all part of the same program. Yep.
Okay. They're making pretty good progress on that, I guess.
Yep.
But that still seems like a lot of ground to bury cable in.
Yes.
1 year.
See them all over the place now in Southern Ontario.
Oh, I
So
know,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah, exciting times to get some better internet out to our rural areas. Any other questions from council? Okay, thanks very much, Jim. I know it's a lot of extra work for you, so thanks for the work you've been doing on that. Can we have want to read the motion?
Be it hereby resolved that report PW 2428 be received as information.
Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Sorry, any comments? Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Young, and the seconder, Councillor you. Barnes? Councillor you? At least you didn't write down you. Yeah, great. Thanks very much, Jim. Do you have a second one?
No, just the one.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, should be crossing this off like Mark does. Okay. Trevor, our Director of Community Services. You get
Afternoon.
your report, please?
Good afternoon, Council. Just here to do 2 reports tonight. The first report is partnerships to enhance community programming. The purpose of this report is just to get Council's permission to go out and talk to organizations and community groups about partnerships in our townships for enhancing community programming while maximizing out services without financial impacts. So the background of this is we're a small rural community. We don't have a programmer on staff. We're not looking at hiring a programmer, but if we can partnership agreements with some local groups to help do programming for the community, we'd like to explore that. We do have some partnership agreements now, fitness programs through VON, early on years, Ox on the Run programs. So this would be looking into talking to the school boards more, talking to community groups, local organizations, to seeing if we can achieve anything more than what we're doing now. Yeah, just maximizing out our resources, and there will be a report back to council if any group wants to do anything with what we're doing and how we're going to do it. Pretty much what it does for the community, how it affects the community, why it's important, and what the group can do for us and what we can do for that group. So just looking into the future for programming and how it's going to go for our township. So, and if we can utilize other resources and we can help those other resources, we can, and that'll be based on doing a report back to council. So just looking for tonight, just looking for a resolution for council to say that we can explore partnership agreements.
Okay, great. Thanks very much, Trevor. Any questions from council? Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
Through you, Madam Vice Mayor. Looking over the right time.
My name changes every
Say some group wanted to come along and put on some kind of a program in the Centennial Hall or any of our halls. Do they have to pay the full rate for renting the facility, or are we given any consideration to?
Right now, like early on years, doesn't pay anything. They do a free program for the community, so if they don't charge for the community, usually we don't charge for, and it's a governing body. That's kind of how our standards now. But moving forward, I mean, we don't. If you're not charging the membership, and we're not going to, so it's a way to attract fitness programs out here, or early on, we probably wouldn't get a private industry to come out here and do like a program like the early on. Or if we had to charge them, they might not come out here. So, and they're a governing body of Oxford County kind of thing. So we kind of stay within those scopes of what we're looking at.
Yeah, that would
as long as it has a social aspect to it, there's no charge.
Right. Yeah.
If it's fundraising or something like that, it's a different story.
Yes, it's a different story. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Trevor.
Yep.
I think one of the goals of this too is to more fully utilize our assets, so like the halls, as you mentioned, et cetera. So it's probably a very good exercise. Any further questions from council? No. Can we have a motion, please?
Be it hereby resolved that report CS 2418 be received as information and that council authorize staff to engage with local organizations to explore potential partnership agreements. And further, that council directs staff to report detailed findings and recommendations.
Could I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Banbury and Councillor Young. All those in favor? Thank you.
The next report is just to deal with the COVID funding that we have left. We have about $16,000 remaining in the COVID funding. We'd like to continue to update our public washrooms. So they're more touchless, so germs can't be spread. This will be in our park washrooms in the Plattsville Park and the Drumbo Park with time locks and touchless doors to open. That's what we're looking at. This follows the guidelines of the COVID funding. We can justify it through touchless washroom facilities. So we've done the automatic flushers in the urinals, and we've done the automatic hand sinks, the hand wash sinks, and now we just want to take it to the next and get the time locks on the doors, and the touchless doors too, to open them. So it follows the scope, and we will get quotes within our procurement policy to do this. And like I said, the justification would be improving hygiene and not having people touch things as much in our washrooms.
Okay, very good. Any questions from council? Councillor Young?
I'm just wondering, what are time lock doors or the automated doors?
Automated doors are like where you don't need to push the doors. They're just like automation doors.
Oh my gosh, like
Wave your hand.
like a sensor.
Yes, sensor doors. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so that's what you're thinking of.
And the locks they'd lock automatically at a certain time.
Oh, okay.
Certain time at night.
Yeah.
And they unlock a certain time in the morning.
Yes.
Nice.
Got it.
Good.
Sorry, that should have been a bit simpler. I should have understood automated.
Valid
And
question.
the Plattsville Park and the Drumbo Park are the highlighted parks to do right now because of the splash pads.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
They're a solid steel door too, are they, or a glass door, or do you know, or
I'm pretty sure we can use the doors that are there. It would just be
maybe just put on these doors?
they would be put on these doors.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at. We still need to we're just getting permission to explore this more tonight, so,
Yeah, okay.
with that money, so,
It would just be like a timer, is that right?
yeah. Yeah.
There's no way you could open them remotely or anything like that, I guess.
There's lots of loopholes you can do with them still, like
No.
kids can put rocks in the door and they'll just,
No,
they won't
I
lock.
meant staffed
Oh.
open remotely from,
I don't know. That's a good question. We'll see if we can do, there's lots of apps out there.
nowadays they have, Wi-Fi, if you can.
I think we just
You
need,
can actually unlock, you can actually buy a lock, a deadbolt that you can run by your phone. If you have an apartment in Florida, you can
Yeah.
unlock it and lock it from here.
yeah, I just don't know if since we don't have internet in the facility, we don't have Wi-Fi in the facility, so I don't know if that would work. That's a great question. We're gonna look into that. We'll look into that for sure. Thanks.
Councillor Young?
I just had another question, and this is maybe not really, it is connected because it's about the bathrooms, and if you had this money, have you ever, or have you seen the bathrooms that are unable to be vandalized?
Yep. Yep.
And I don't know,
I
obviously
think
you're going
in-
to add a new bathroom, but I'm just wondering if there was pieces of that, or if that's an option to.
There's lots of options. There's a lot of options. I've looked into a lot of bathrooms options, and we don't have much money.
Okay, I
for-
didn't know how much they were.
Yeah, I think it was $7,000 for just a toilet that you can get for them. Smart toilets and stuff, like to change stuff over, like, if you, yes. Yeah, like they're very expensive. Bathrooms can be very costly, and bathrooms, and the damage, you gotta weigh out how much damage do we have, and but for sure, that's, yeah, we can
Good. Thank you, Trevor. Any other questions? Good. Do you get the sense that the $60,000 will be enough?
16?
Yeah. Or do you think that'll just, sort of barely offset?
That'll get us started.
That'll get us started, okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Good. Thanks, Trevor.
Yep.
Can I have a motion, please, to accept the report?
Be it hereby resolved that report CS 2419 be received as information, and that council authorize the allocation of $16,000 from remaining COVID-19 funding towards the installation of automated doors and locks at the park washrooms in Plattsville and Drumbo Park in accordance with the township's purchasing policies.
Can I have a first and second, please? Councillor Barnes and Councillor Young. All those in favor? And that's passed. Thanks, Trevor.
Thank you.
Adam, can we have your drainage report, please?
Evening. I have a petition for drainage report. We've received a signed petition for drainage works in the area of Lot 10, Concession 3 from John Pinenberg and fellow property owners for improvement of the Sparks drain. It was originally constructed in around 1915 and was abandoned in 1999, becoming a private drain. As per Section 4 of the Drainage Act, a petition must be signed by the majority of landowners, and I believe that this petition received meets the requirements. And and notice should be sent to the petitioner and Conservation Authority that may be affected by the petition, that we intend to proceed with the petition in accordance with Section 5.
Okay, great. Any questions from council? Councillor
Through you,
Bieber?
Deputy Mayor, how many landowners would be involved in this drain?
I think there was three lots, if I'm not mistaken. It might be 4, but yeah.
Where does it empty into?
Bremner Creek.
Oh, okay.
Very good. Any other questions from council? No? Okay, have a motion, please.
Be it hereby resolved that report DS 2422 be received as information, and that council accepts the petition for drainage works for Lot 10, Concession 3, Blandford-Blenheim from John Pinenberg in the affected area of the existing private Sparks drain, and further, that the clerk notify the Grand River Conservation Authority that it has received a petition for drainage work, and that they intend to proceed with this petition.
Thank you, Sarah. Could I have a first and second, please? First, Councillor Young, and could I have a second, please? Okay. Okay, I didn't see it. He was hiding back there. Councillor Barnes. Thank you. All in favor? You guys are messing with me. Okay. Thanks, Adam. Okay, Josh, could I have your report about the insurance program, please?
Certainly, through you, Madam Deputy Mayor. This is an update on the municipal insurance policy for the year 2025. I just wanted to start in providing a little bit of background on what's led us to this point. In 2022, Council made a decision to transition the township insurance coverage to Marsh Canada for the 2023 year. And at the time, that represented a significant cost savings of approximately $225,000 compared to the previous annual premiums. And at that time, Marsh Canada, that proposal provided the most competitive pricing, and they specified that they'd have reliable service levels and that they'd be maintained within the quoted policy terms. So for the year 2024 and then for next year, we've seen some increases in that, in those policy proposals. So in 2023, for the 2024 year, we saw an 8% increase. And then in 2024, so recently Denise and I have been advised that for next year, Marsh saw a 22% increase. And the large part of the rationale for that increase had to do with updated costs of township assets coming from the township's asset management plan. So they had some more reliable data to base that policy off of. While Marsh Canada has provided cost-effective coverage, the township has encountered some service-related challenges that we think underscore the importance of prioritizing quality of service and responsiveness alongside affordability when evaluating insurance. So based on our past experiences with intact public entities and previously Cowan, in understanding that they had all of the necessary background information to expedite a revised quotation. We did formally seek one for the 2025 service. Intact Public Entities was provided with all of the updated asset management information that we had also provided Marsh. And moving along here, in reviewing those final policy quotations, Marsh Canada came in at $170,689 plus applicable taxes, and Intact Public Entities came in at $203,360 plus applicable taxes. With that being said, and despite the higher policy costs, staff are recommending that council proceed with the quotation provided by Intact Public Entities, and this is largely a result of the value-added services and the inclusion of a cyber insurance policy provision within that quote. Just to provide a quick summary of some of the value-added services that did cause the Intact Public Entities proposal to stand out from the other, had to do with a complementary asset valuation and risk inspection. So this includes Intact staff walking our buildings, trying to seek risks proactively and helping us come up with processes to mitigate those risks. They assist with minimizing exposure to non-repair of road claims. So they undertake road assessments on our behalf, review our documentation and under our obligations in the Ontario Traffic Manual. Again, I'm just summarizing here. They've got driver training resources, fleet management, education and training for municipal staff. And then finally, they offer complimentary legal and paralegal services for third-party contracts and complimentary policy and procedural reviews. So that gives council an idea of some of those value-added services that are included within the policy. Finally, I just wanted to draw some attention to the inclusion of a cyber insurance policy. I know that that's something that this council has discussed in the past, and historically we had found that it wasn't feasible due to some of the system requirements that we were obligated to comply with before implementing that. However, the policy that's been put in front of us by Intact, I'm confident that we'll be able to meet the minimum system requirements and sign on to that in very short order. So as far as the financial impact in the conclusion of this report, the overall financial impact of proceeding with Intact Public Entities as opposed to Marsh Canada is approximately $33,000. But with that said, and while cost efficiency remains important, we're hoping that this is an example of balancing affordability with comprehensive coverage and responsive service to ensure that the township is well protected and prepared for any future challenges that come up. And with that said, I'm happy to answer any questions that council might have.
Good. Any questions from council? No? Okay. I was wondering about our ability to play with deductibles at all, and if that would help sort of manage the costs a little bit. I don't know if we're required to carry a certain level of deductibles through law, or?
Certainly. Through you, Deputy Mayor Demarest, as it stands right now, I understand that we're mostly utilizing best practices from similar municipalities. Now, with that said, we did ensure that when we had those quotations submitted, that we were comparing apples to apples. So, my understanding is that they would be very comparable in both proposals. As far as adjusting the deductibles to see what type of impact that has on the policy, that's something that I think we should explore in the future. It's not something that we did on this specific proposal, but moving forward, I think that's something that certainly would be within our purview. I do want to mention to council that it's imperative that we make a decision on this tonight because we need coverage for next year, but that's something moving forward we should note and follow up on.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't think you would have the time to be able to go through that exercise, but in the future it would be worthwhile. Any other questions? Go ahead, Bruce.
Just a comment. We always had pretty good service with the Cowan Company, and I think a lot of the same employees are employed with Intact as well, so they know the situation in our township, and I realize it's a little more expensive, but I think when it comes to service and dependability and knowledge, I think it's maybe worth that difference in price.
Okay.
Especially if we've had some not great experiences with Marsh.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
I think
yeah.
You get what you pay for, right, on some of these? I'm sorry, but, yeah. That's what it is to me anyway, so.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Okay, I feel like we need a motion to go forward with the proposal.
Be it hereby resolved that report CAO 2450 be received as information, and that council directs the clerk to take the necessary administrative actions to execute November 21, 2024 policy documents offered by intact public entities.
Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Barnes and Councillor Banbury. All those in favor? And that's passed. Okay, what do we have left here? Are there any reports from council? Do you have anything? Go ahead.
Yeah, on December the 20th.
Friday, this evening?
This Friday coming up, we're having hot chocolate and Santa Claus at the Pavilion in downtown Drumbo. Yep. And everybody's welcome. We're also selling tickets at the Heritage Society for their Christmas basket as well. So if anybody's interested in coming out, it's going to be fun.
This
Yeah.
Saturday?
Yep.
This Friday, yep.
Oh, this Friday?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. What's particularly nice about this event is that there's so many service clubs involved, the Heritage Society, the Lions Club,
Lions Club.
as well as our fire department.
Yep.
Am I missing anybody?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think it's all
But
three of us,
it's always a very positive thing for the community when we work together on some of these things. So it's nice. Any other reports from council? No? Okay. Can I just keep moving through the list? Yeah. Okay, I don't think there's any unfinished business. No motions, notice motions, no new business. We've done closed session. So bylaws. Would you like to go through with those?
Be it hereby resolved that the following bylaws be now read a first and second time. A, 2474-2024, a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 1360-2002 as amended, ZN 1-2422, and B, 2475-2024, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council.
Can I have a first and second, please? Councillor Young, Councillor Banbury, and all those in favor. And that's passed. Go ahead if you'd like to read the next.
Be it hereby resolved that the following bylaws be now read a third and final time. A, 2474-2024, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 1360-2002 as amended, ZN 1-2422, and B, 2475-2024, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council.
Can I have a first and second on that motion, please? Councillor Young, Councillor Barnes, all those in favor? And that's passed as well. Okay, anything else this evening? No? Okay. Then if we could have a motion for adjournment, please.
Whereas business before council has been completed at 5:51 p.m., be it hereby resolved that council adjourn to meet again on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025 at 10 a.m. for the 2025 capital and operating budget.
Can I have a first and second, please? Councillor Young, Councillor Banbury, I'm going to make you do it. All those in favor? Thank you. That's it.